able to really enjoy long walks and not get into pain, our body needs to be capable of walking a certain distance. We can help that by warming up before we go, by walking with good technique, and finally by moving in between walks in ways that improve our mobility and our strength. This is the third video in my series Walking for Wellness, celebrating National Walking Month in the UK in May. I've already addressed the pre-walk warm-up in another video here. I've also talked about good walking technique here. So go to those videos after you've watched this one. When we walk, we really need our bodies to be nice and mobile so that we get a lovely, efficient walking pattern where all our joints move nice and fluidly. In this video, I'm going to give you 5 different natural movements that you can do in between your walks to really improve your mobility and strength specifically for walking. So let's get started. Movement number 1, calf raises, for strengthening feet, ankles, and a progression to really strengthen the legs. Stand with your feet hip width, spread your toes, and start lifting up onto the balls of your feet so your heels raise straight up. We're aiming for the feet to go straight up so the heels are directly behind the legs, not moving out to the sides or caving in together. Lift and try and slow down the descent so that you really get that strength up and down. Do this a few times until you can really feel it in the calves. Then add on a challenge. Take your arms up above you and try not to fall over. Now we're going to take the arms in front, keep the heels high and bend the knees. Just bend the knees to a shallow depth originally until you get used to the pattern. And then you can see just how far down you can go. And lower as much as you can, keeping those heels up and your body nicely aligned. Trying to really make sure those knees are tracking directly over the toes and again not caving in towards each other. Movement number 2, single leg balancing. Walking is actually primarily a single leg balancing move. With these movements you'll be strengthening that leg and hip, improving your balance. And if you struggle with this and want to try and work on your balance more, go over to my other video all about balancing here. Shifting your weight over onto one leg, weight nicely in the heel. Try to start touching the numbers on a clock with the free leg. Try to really just gently tap the ground and have your foot off the ground for as much as you can. Be as relaxed as you can in the upper body, not lifting the arms up out to the sides, keeping them nice and relaxed down by your side. But all the tension is coming from your center and down that balancing leg to keep you nice and upright. If you struggle with this, either use a stick, like I've got here, or a piece of furniture, but try and hold it as lightly as you can, so it's really just there for reassurance. To up the challenge, I want you to do some single leg wobbling. This is the same movement, but we're really counterbalancing with the upper body whilst we move the other leg around. Imagine that you're going to put something on the ground or you lean down to stroke your cat. That really wasn't expected, but it was kind of perfect. Remember always when you're balancing to balance on both legs to equal up. We strengthen both hips equally. Make it playful and have fun with it. It's the catching moment with balance that really counts. Movement number 3, the split squat get down. This is also what I call the tying the shoelaces move. It is all about leg strength, particularly in the quads, and great for strengthening knees. Take a step forward, a normal step, lift the back heel, and then bend both knees, trying to stay as upright in the descent as you can, and then tie your shoelaces at the bottom. Switch over. This takes a lot more leg strength than it looks like it does. So just be mindful of the fact that staying upright and not leaning forward means you're really using those legs, particularly the quad muscles, but it's super strengthening for the knees. Start at a quicker pace and then go slowly. See how slow you can lower right down and then push back up as slowly as you can as well. This is an important way of training. Often we race through movements and that speed can mask inefficiencies. It's super strengthening to go slow. I'm just going to show you from the front as well. Make sure that you have hip width between those feet so you've got a nice wide base of support when you do this, and only go as low as you can. This is not about getting right down. It's about that lovely strengthening movement. And don't let the knees cave together, as I'm showing slightly here. Movement 4 is all about rotation in the hips for improving mobility. They're called side bent sit reverses. Try it and see how it feels. If you like it and you want to do more variation of it, then go over to this video here. Starting with your knees bent in front of you and your feet wide, that's the key thing. We drop both knees from one side to the other simultaneously. Start on both hands and then take the back hand off and swing it round behind you. Your legs should land in approximately a 90-degree angle between the shins. Just get that lovely reach in and feel the stretch into the hips. If you're capable, take both hands off and tilt the spine back into a curve onto the back of your pelvis to lift the legs through, and then sit up nice and tall at the end of the range. And finally, movement 5 is about crawling, both on our knees and then progressing to foot hand. This is all about strengthening the pattern in the back between the opposite shoulder and hip that we want to be nice and strong so that we can get a lovely fluid arm swing and opposite leg swing simultaneously. If you struggle with any of these crawling moves, I've also got a series of videos about entry movements to get towards them. On all fours, bring one knee forward and the same side hand back to make a short side, and then the other hand forward. This allows you to rock back slightly so that you can move simultaneously opposite hand and opposite knee. And when you get to the end of your space, reverse it. You may want to create a little stop in between each movement so that your brain can catch up with the pattern, as this is quite an unusual thing for it to do if you haven't done it for a while. If you find that easy and you want to increase the challenge, do the same starting position, but this time tuck the toes, lift the knees just 1 inch and see if you can do the same thing. This is a lot more challenging, very strengthening through the shoulders and for the core. See how you go. If you can only do 1 or 2, or if you can only even lift and not move forward, it's a great place to get started. If you enjoyed these movements and you found out a little bit more about your own mobility and strength, then you'll really enjoy natural movement training. For these types of movements and many more, join me in the Reclaim Movement membership, where there are live classes, replays of all the classes, and lots of mini movement videos covering tutorials about these types of movements and many more. There's a 7-day free trial, or you can do a 3-day taster for £9.99. I'd love to see you there.